Okay, great. Let's dive in tonight and learn some perhaps some different, perhaps some hopefully easy, simple, quick tools to start uh, regulating our central nervous system. And we're going to talk a little bit about why that's important for pain. It's super important, as you probably know already because you're here. So, hi, Mark. How are you?
Good. Yeah. How's it going there?
Good, good. Why don't you kick us off tonight? Get us started.
Right. Well, what a group. Amazing. We just put this together. It wasn't our regular scheduled webinar. And again, thanks for everybody for joining us. On behalf of the Bill Nelms Pain and Research Center, just want to welcome everybody and on this sort of wintry come almost spring
Mhm.
evenings some of the time. But yeah, just it's great to see everybody and great a special thanks to Madeline for putting this webinar together. This is something that I know is very close to her heart and it's her area of expertise. So I'm just going to welcome everybody, just say, you can put things in the chat, just ask that we respect one another's confidentiality. But I'm going to turn this over to Madeline and a very special thanks for putting this webinar together about how we regulate our central nervous system,
Mhm.
and especially in the context of chronic pain and the stresses that go with it.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, great. Yeah, it was kind of an impromptu uh, webinar because I've been having some conversations with people, and I know that we've talked about nervous system regulation and central sensitization, and calming anxiety and all of those things quite a bit. But I could also see that I know for myself, and maybe for other people as well, I need a constant reminder of
Mhm.
this connection between the nervous system, levels of stress and anxiety, and the fight, flight, freeze response that we're under a lot in this day and age, with or without pain,
Mhm.
and that connection to pain. And
Mhm.
um, and we often need, almost like a list, because when we go into a stress response or we're in fight, flight, freeze, we're, having a high pain day or really stressed out, that is the time that these skills almost, I don't know if other people find it, but those skills almost like escape us because the mind at the same time tends to go offline. And
Mhm.
there's a reason for that. There's a physiological reason for that I would kind of forget, um, what was I supposed to be doing, and and it doesn't always come back right away.
Mhm.
So I thought it would be helpful just to go over this, and maybe there's another way of looking at tools that we can bring into our life for those moments, but not just for those moments, not just for those um, flare up days or really high stress days, but but also just for daily practice.
Mhm.
And I think that's equally as important because we're not just like calming down, you know, um, but we're actually shifting neural pathways. And the more we can do that, the more we are likely to have more of a calm, regulated nervous system as a default system,
Mhm.
which is the end goal. That being said, again, in today's life, I remember hearing that we have more stimulation in one day: email, text, phone calls, the news, people, social media, in one day than our ancestors did in their whole life. If you think about that, if you had to travel from city to city, it may have taken you 2 days to get there. And that now we just get on Zoom or just quickly send a text. And the reason this is so important is because our nervous systems, like our biology, hasn't had a chance to catch up. And so we're constantly stimulated inside and outside. And now it takes a real concerted effort to notice when you're in overwhelm, where you're, it's easy to notice um, when you're having a high pain day. That's very obvious. But to start to actually become the detective of your own life. And I'll explain more what I mean about this, but to start to really tune in. This is not an easy thing to do, because when we're uncomfortable in our body, the last thing we really feel like doing a lot of the time is tuning into what's going on inside of us. But when we start tuning into what agitates, what irritates, what sends signals of danger or fear or pain in our body, and what sends signals of safety and calm, then we can start to really shift and change things. Um, it doesn't mean that you have to get rid of everybody who irritates you, because you'll probably never be able to do that, because people are people, and life comes with stress. But you can equally balance it out with the other side of the nervous system. So, so let's get started. I'm, yeah, like a horse out of the gate here. All right, so hopefully you can see that, and you might be able to see us as well. And if you want to change your view to a gallery view, then you'll be able to see our faces as well. It's good to see faces that are talking, and whether, I mean, online or in person, because that is a tool for nervous system regulation. And that is a face that you consider to be calm and inviting and supportive, obviously. So I'm wondering, Mark, if you can just kind of set the scene for us about, I mean, I think we probably know this, but I think it's also good as just a quick review. For some people who might be new, and just kind of finding out about nervous system regulation and what does that have to do with pain, and it might be kind of a new topic for some. Can you just go over a little bit about this?
Yeah, it's confusing in that you would think that the sympathetic nervous system is sort of the calming, but it actually isn't. The sympathetic nervous system does more activation. It's the parasympathetic nervous system and the vagus nerve that are more involved in calming or outflows from the central nervous system that lead to sort of down regulation and calming. And what we know about the stress and the anxiety response is that they release chemicals which, if we don't deal with it appropriately, what it does, it kind of ramps up your nervous system. So the anxiety increases our levels of hyper awareness, of feeling stressed or vulnerable, which increases our perception of pain, which sometimes then leads to more stress and anxiety, and it's sort of a vicious circle. And unless we're able to sort of understand that and be able to look and go, oh my gosh, I can see, this is what's happening, then it's almost like a hamster on a wheel, and you go faster and faster, winding up your nervous system. So a lot of what you and Juliet have been teaching is how to regulate and calm our central nervous system. But first of all, to understand, or to be able to look at it and go, oh, okay, I can see what's going on here. What can I do about it? And realizing how important that is to be able to self-soothe or calm, or at least understand understanding first, and then being able to self-soothe and calm your nervous system. What a huge impact that has on our levels of pain perception and how we function.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
the parasympathetic nervous system is key to that, together with the vagus nerve, which is part of the parasympathetic nervous system.
right,
So
right.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so there's two branches of the nervous
Mhm.
system, and we want to be focused on less of one or at least a regulation of both, more of the
Hmm.
parasympathetic. So how many people here don't um, or notice like sometimes you can have a really stressful day or or a high pain day, and then and sometimes we don't actually note. I know for myself, you don't notice in the moment until perhaps you go to bed, and then maybe you've done nothing to calm yourself all day, but then you can't sleep, and you
Hmm.
start to notice that you're really revved up, and and then and then you have insomnia, or or you find that you're really irritable or agitated, and you find yourself yelling at someone, maybe yelling at your kids, yelling at the dog. And then that's like a signal, oh, right. I think I'm really like, it's nothing to do with the dog, really. It's probably more to do with the state of my nervous system. Or you get in the car and you notice that you're driving fast and you realize, oh yeah, okay, I'm hyper alert. My shoulders are tight. So sometimes it's those very obvious things that happen in our life where we go, whoa, okay, I think I better just like calm down, and I need a break, maybe. But and so that's what Mark was talking about. Yeah, starting to notice, starting to be more in tune with yourself on a regular basis, so that you might be able to. I mean, some things you just you end up there yelling at your kids, and that's just everybody's done that, I think. And then you pull back, but hopefully when it comes to pain, we can build this in a little bit more as a regular routine. Now, I know maybe a couple of people here, but a couple of people listen to a meditation at night every single night as part of their routine. It's a deep breathing meditation. They found that over time, all they have to do is turn it on, and it signals their body through body memory. Oh, right. This is the time that we go to sleep. This is the time that we relax. They sleep better and they wake up feeling better. So that's one example of how this can really shift things. So yeah, high stress is instant pain and no sleep. So I think, Nathan, I mean, it's it might seem like a very obvious connection, but now like what happens with that curve up to high stress. Right there, there's the instant pain, and now I can't sleep. So maybe we might be able to catch it a little bit earlier, or at least build some building blocks in, so that the wave of stress might not be as high. And get enough sleep the night before, almost like overdrive. Yes, panic. Yeah, yeah. So when that happens, you're going to notice this connection, and then the next day you're going to know that that's a possibility. This overdrive panic, and take extra steps to look after yourself that day in terms of self-care, giving yourself a break, all of those things. I mean, we do the best that we can, right? And yeah, and what it says, irritable, absolutely. So starting to take notice of these connections, and also how stress feels in your body, as yeah, maybe as increased pain, but also as insomnia, irritability, fatigue, short temper, tight muscles. What else? Mark, how do you know when you're stressed? Oh, you got to unmute. You have to unmute yourself.
There we go.
How,
See,
how what are your first kind of signs if you slowed
you
it
know
down?
what you were talking about how your brain sort of gets disengaged. It's like, yeah, I can afterwards I can see how my brain gets disengaged. Like my logical, okay, let's just take this one step at a time. It's almost like you feel pressure to say something about what it is that's stressing you or whatever. I might come home and say something, then afterwards think, oh yeah, okay, if I just like take a deep breath and just, hi, how are you? And like, set the scene and then say, you know, this happened to me today, you know, I wouldn't
Mm.
mind like some input, and what do you think of that, as opposed to, yeah, you know, and then afterwards
As
it never
opposed to
feels,
just, yeah,
yeah, it never feels
yeah,
really good, you know.
yeah.
So,
But how do you
so
know even before that in your
because
body that you're stressed?
you just feel antsy. Like I feel like, you know, just unsettled. Like my usual ability
Okay.
to, like, you know, just feel calm. Like you just feel really unsettled in like, yeah, I just feel like a cat in a hot tin
You can,
roof, you know,
right, like restless,
restless, yeah,
agitated. Yes.
agitated. And I know it's something, you know, just it's something out of my control that's happened, and it's like, okay, I just gotta, you know, take a deep breath, you know.
Hmm. But the
Um,
clue being you feel restless, you feel
yeah, you
agitated,
feel restless and
something's
agitated.
uneasy, something's, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so great. Wanda says, I don't breathe proper. Yeah, 100%.
Hmm.
Yeah, that would be, she says, very short and tight. That might be your number one um,
Clue.
clue.
Hmm.
My memory gets fuddled, tailbone hurts bad before things go completely sideways. Okay, take note. This is awesome because everybody here has a different footprint,
Hmm.
fingerprint, let's say, for the stress in their body. And so I can't say to you, notice when your chest gets tight, because your chest might not get tight, you know, because everybody's physiology is going to react just slightly differently.
Hmm.
My heart races. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Neck tension, mental scatter. Yeah. When you can't remember anything. And that's what I'm assuming you're saying, like kind of discombobulated.
Hmm.
Um, those are the times when you really can't, yeah, you got foggy brain, can't think straight. Don't force yourself to think straight, but pause and calm your nervous system, because that's exactly what's happening. And then you'll be able to get back online, because our brain literally goes offline. I think I talked about that. I think it was at the pain clinic in a previous webinar,
Hmm.
that the thinking brain, the rational brain, actually goes offline, and the fight, flees, fawn response comes in.
Hmm. You did mention that before. Yeah, it's a good
Right.
point, because I mean, these things, we need to talk about them over and over, because I mean, it's good to remind ourselves. I mean, we all need this, you know. Just
Every day.
I can speak for myself
I think.
anyway.
Yeah. 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 And with pain, of course, there is this direct connection between stress and the pain response.
Hmm.
So they agitate the brain in the same way. They show up. They show up in the same part of the brain with shortness of breath, tight muscles, racing, fearful thoughts, increased rate, increased heartbreak, increased heart sometimes, increased heart rate, and release of chemicals like adrenaline and cortisol. So a message is going through your body that I'm not safe, there's danger, even though the danger might be an unhelpful thought. And that agitation of needing to fight, flight, or I think a lot of people um, end up in freeze response when we have chronic pain, simply because when you have pain coming from inside your body, it's not an outside threat that continues. We can fight it for a until we get this information. We can fight it. We can fight with the doctors. We can fight with the system. Get go. It's a survival state. We can flight. We can try to get out of it by numbing. Of course, medications are good. That's different. That's proactive. We can try to flight it by, distracting ourselves. And eventually, unfortunately, for some people, after a period of time, go into the freeze response, where it's almost like a shutdown. And I think this is where a lot of the fatigue comes in, because the system just goes, I don't know what to do. I feel helpless. And, it's like a feeling of flop, like, give up. Um, so, yeah. So this is, as you know, what we call the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response with stress, with pain, with anxiety, um, and uh, and this is a very important nervous system response reaction if you are being chased by a tiger or a grizzly bear and you need to act immediately, and you need to get away from there. You need to either turn around and fight, you need to flight, or eventually if you can't get away you're going to freeze. Fawning is not so much an animal response, that's a human response. And the fawn response is people pleasing, is actually turning towards situations where you feel stressed out. And I won't get into this too much tonight. It's probably a topic for another night. But you try to keep the peace. You try to avoid conflict. And you try to kind of put out fires here and there, like, like a whack-a-mole game, and try to make friends with everybody so that everybody's okay. So that's the fawn response. And I'll just thought I would pop that in there, but I think we're more in fight, flight, freeze here probably a lot of the time. So yeah. Okay. So just back here for a moment. This what is that? A wildebeest? What is, or
That
a warthog? A warthog. Thank you. The warthog. So this warthog is full of adrenaline, full of cortisol. His muscles are in action. He's going. He's busy flighting. His body is saying danger, alert, don't think about anything else. Only think about the threat that's behind you. And this is why the rest of his brain goes offline. He's not going to be thinking about his shopping list or what he's making for dinner or trying to remember that doctor's appointment even. He's and this is I'm saying this because it's similar to a high pain day or a high stress day. All the mental energy goes towards that response. So when you can't remember things and you get brain fog, that's why there's nothing wrong with you. Your nervous system is doing what it has been trained extremely well to do. And that is for you to survive. That is its main goal for you. Unfortunately, it over responds to things that aren't really life threatening. So this is where we have a nervous system that is sending a message of danger, fear, stress, pain versus a feeling of safety or calm. So in our day-to-day life, as I said, not only do we have, the stress and the anxiety intertangled with pain, we've got a lot of different inputs coming in. And so I want to try to broaden our scope here of not just the pain, but other things that can dysregulate our nervous system and other things that can actually calm our nervous system. So here we've got a picture of something called a protectometer, and this is from a course called Explain Pain. On the one side, we have all the stickies of things that might trigger a response of danger in me. DIM, DIMS, danger in me. And on the other side, we have all the things that will send the message of safety in me. SIM, SIMS. We've got the DIMS and the SIMS. So you might notice, I don't know if you can see this, it's kind of small, but it's not just pain and calm. It's not just stress and peace. It's things that you hear, see, smell, taste, touch, things you say, things you do, places you go, things you think and believe. We know that Carrie, you're on a roll tonight, I think. And this is all good because laughter is such a great stress relief, and it's a pain relief. So keep going. People in your life and things that are happening in your body. So we can start to fill out either side of this protectometer to decide whether we're going to increase the temperature of danger or safety. So not only do we then focus on taking things away that are stressful, reducing pain, maybe not answering that call to that friend that's stressful, or whatever it might be, but we can actually think about adding things in that increase safety. So right now, let's answer the first question, and then we'll answer the second question. So you can play along with me here if you want. If you could think about the broad scope of your life and start to notice, you might even start to keep a journal about this. What are the things that signal increased stress, increased danger, which equals increased pain in your life? And, just start to notice for yourself. Maybe it's a particular time of day, maybe it's a thought, maybe maybe it's an activity. Maybe for some people who suffer with post-traumatic stress, it can be certain smells, certain sights, certain colors. So when we start to really sort of narrow it down, we might start to notice even those small things. And no, it's not being, it's a, if you're thinking, oh, well, that's silly, color red, maybe that happens to you. You're not silly at all. Your nervous system is saying that color or that particular smell has been dangerous in my past. So you can answer that now, but what I really want to focus on here is what in your life sends that signal of safety. So we've got danger, safety, and where this is a constant moving thermometer. So maybe we can just start popping some things into the chat. Are there any particular things, before I get into some practices, that you know of right now that make you feel good, that make you feel comfortable, safe, relaxed, breathing, sunshine? These are all really important. The forest, going into nature, breathing a warm bath. My dog, of course. Dogs, yeah. Dogs are always in here, sometimes cats. My husband and 2 cats. Self-care, a bath, a walk, music. Awesome, Gail. Heating pad, grandkids, cup of coffee. So all of these things are signals to you, to your particular nervous system. Love this. And take note of them all, everybody, because you might find more on there. Now, for some people, for Bobby, being on the water sailing is obviously an enjoyable activity. And for other people, including myself, I would find that extremely stressful. So this is where you really tune in to your own to your own knowing in your own body. And that's the beautiful thing about it. My husband, music, movement, family, listening to the sounds of the ocean. Okay, awesome. That's a great list. Just great group.
Like the what about a cup of coffee?
Right. Yeah. Like for some, could you relate to that one or?
100%.
Okay. Okay. And for me now in my older age, if I have caffeine, it sends my heart rate up sky high. Never used to be that way, sadly.
Mhm.
Cup of tea. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So here we can start to expand into regulating our nervous system. And going through, I'm going to invite you, this tiger right now is not just sitting. This tiger has their ears perked, their nose is alert, their sense of smell, um, touch, awareness of energy, shifts in the wind. There is so much going on, as it is for us as well. So we're going to start to tune into um, basically all of these senses and energies around us that could be giving us signals one way or another. Good. Being really listened to. Oh yeah, that's that's such a that connection with another human being is very regulating it to a certain part of our nervous system that says you're not alone. And our ancestors, that's very evolutionary because, if you were part of a tribe going back, a few hundred years ago, in order to survive, we needed to be part of a tribe because those people that were tossed out didn't survive. So all of this, we inherit in our DNA until our bodies can upgrade and get with the program. So I'll just check this Huberman podcast. I just actually came across the Huberman podcast. So good. Okay, so in your own nervous system, you might just want to do this for yourself. We can do a little exercise right now. Um, And we'll start with, and then we'll move into some more specifics. I'm just going to see what's coming up here. Oh, yeah. Okay. So let's just move through a couple of things right now. Since we're here and you can do this, it doesn't have to be a specific place, time, although, it's nice to have a regular routine, a nice quiet place. But really, you can bring this into any part of your life, any moment of your life. So, right now, notice where you're sitting. Are you as comfortable as you can be? And in a regulated state, at this time of night, you might want to feel more relaxed than you would, say, in the morning. So notice for yourself if you would like to bring in any extra comfort, if you would like to change your posture, if you'd like to roll your shoulders, if you want to even stand up or, change rooms, just take notice if you need any movement, any shift. And then when you're ready, make sure your hands are open and your toes without clenching or holding on too tight to this. Just start by taking a really deep breath in and, as deep as you can. Now let it go with a sigh. Ah, let yourself soften into your belly. Take one more. Best as you can through your nose. Let it go with a sigh. Just two sighing breaths. Now let's do one more. And we're going to take a deep breath in. And on our exhale, we're going to start layering in different things. We're going to relax any muscle tension. And we're going to bring in a soft vibration. So this is a touch of a hum inside our body. So it might look like this. Deep breath in. On your exhale, relax muscle tension. You can close your lips and a gentle vibration of a hum. Mm. And we're going to do one more and try to make that hum a little bit lower, maybe a little bit farther back in your throat. Just play along with me. Deep breath in. Relax your face. Sound. Good. Yeah, let's do some box breathing. So the next time we're going to breathe in for 4, 3, 4. We're going to hold it for 4 at the top of the square. And out for 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, hold, relax, exhale, and hold. And inhale. And hold. Just pause, suspend it. Exhale. And pause. Good. You can keep going with that if you like, or just some really nice, long, deep, slower inhales and exhales. And the box breathing is nice because there's always a box around that you can follow with your eyes. And in this way, you're giving your mind something to do. If you're counting, you're using your concentration, and you're breathing and you're using visual as well. Good. Okay. So notice any extra muscle tension that you're carrying right now. And if you notice some spots, let's say it's a shoulder, you might just rub your hands together. So you make a little bit of heat and bring that hand to, if you can, that part of your body. And then as you breathe, just allow that hand a sense of touch to be on that part of your body. You don't need to shift or change anything because your nervous system, like the tiger, is taking in information without you telling it. So when we place a hand on our body, we're giving that message of self-care, soothing, oxytocin. It's that loving bonding chemical that is calming and sends a sense of safety. All right, so the next one I'm going to show you, we're going through pretty quickly. Play along with me if you want to. We're going to take one hand and just place it up on your shoulder and the other hand just below your armpit. So somebody had mentioned hugging earlier. This pose right here, this position is called self-care pose. And if you care to join me in just breathing a few times in self-care pose into your heart. So just see what it feels like to hold yourself, to show yourself some care, to give yourself a hug. We know this increases oxytocin. We know it decreases cortisol. So just bringing in a nice gentle hug. You can just hold, like it's almost like I've got you. I've got you. Got your own back. And breathing into your heart. Good. Shoulders got a bit tight there. So yeah, you might want to, oh, Cheryl, that's how you sleep. Yeah, you might want to do it lying down. It might be a bit easier. Now we're actually going to bring a hand to your heart and a hand to your belly. And we're going to send that next breath into your belly and into your heart. And I'm breathing out like a straw, can if you want. It cools things down for those moments where you feel very stressed. So breathing in, belly, heart. It's like you're blowing out the candles on a cake. Oh, and if you start to yawn, that's a good thing. It's a release. Good. and just relax your hands down. Um, well, the other one that I wanted to just bring in here is taking a hand, and particularly if you suffer with a lot of anxiety, tightness of your chest, panic attacks, and just gently tapping your sternum. Just gentle taps on your sternum. And that's just right, that bone right in the middle of your chest there. And you might just slow down the taps a little bit. Don't go too fast because that could be stressful for your body. Good. And now we're going to take our hands, rub them together, and I'm going to take my glasses off here. Just bring a sense of touch, like really massage out your temples and your scalp. Because when a tiger's running, I'm sorry, when a warthog's running away from tiger, they don't have time. The organism doesn't have time to stop and do things like this. So when you're doing it to your face, to your neck, it's sending a signal through your nervous system that this being, this organism that you're living in is safe. And then maybe just bring some broad strokes to your arms and down to your legs. Good. Because we know that telling ourselves to just calm down often doesn't work. Okay. So now with the next thing that I just want to go into is layering. So layering different things on top of that. So I might be doing, choose, a breathing exercise, and I might take something like an essential oil and actually layer in a scent with my breathing. And then if I want to layer in something else, I might turn on some music, and I know some of you do this already, have scented candles or a nice scent going in the room, do some breathing, some touch, um, some humming at the same time. And then I might want to bring in taste, and I might have with me a nice cup of herbal tea. And so layering one on top of another on top of another. And if something doesn't work for you, or maybe it worked yesterday and today it doesn't feel right, then you shift to something else for nervous system regulation. Okay. So those are some things, and I do want to get into some other things that are going to also be quite important. Those are things sort of in the moment. So a physiological sigh or other breathing exercises, moving your body in different ways. Oh, using a weighted blanket. For some people, like me, I love heated weighted blankets. It just calms my nervous system right down, right down. I have suggested that to a number of people, and some people feel claustrophobic with it. So you could give that a try. I love it. I'd be curious if anybody else here uses the weighted blanket. Mindfulness, guided relaxation, or music. Sing, laugh, or hum. Laughing, even when there's nothing in particular to laugh at. It's like taking a dose of, it's like honestly taking a dose of oxytocin. So, I mean, it's great medicine. Scented oils, touch, massage, gentle tapping. Connection stimulates the vagus nerve, and that calms down our nervous system. Connection might be coming here on a Monday night. You're here, you're with people, you're part of a group here that is here to support you, to join, to connect, to learn, all those things. You're not alone. placing your feet on the earth, your bare feet on the earth, maybe not now, but um, earthing, um, connect with the air, nature, trees, the sky, sometimes taking a hot or a cold shower. Some people find cold showers really effective. Okay, so let's talk about journaling or talking out difficult emotions for a moment. So let me just go back. There's the nice list there if you wanted to screen share any of that. I mean, or take a screenshot. Um, David, these things are on my empowered relief go-to list. Okay, good. Yeah, have your list there. TRE therapy, great. Yes, yes. And if anybody's wondering about trauma release exercises, we have a video up on the website from a fellow that came and taught us some TRE therapy. That's really good, and it's very subtle, isn't it, Nathan? But it really can go deep. Um, I don't know if there's a blanket that's both weighted. If there is, please let me know. But I actually use like a hot pack that I put in the microwave, and then I put that on, and then pile on a weighted blanket. But anyway, that's what I like. The audio tape is good too, isn't it, Cheryl? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so those are not the only things. What I want to tap into right now is that oftentimes we have this level of anxiety and in our body and stress, and it's not unusual also in this day and age to have emotions that are underneath that. So if I have a lot of, maybe I have a lot of anger about, maybe it was at pain. Maybe there was, it's made, I had a big life change, a big life change. Maybe relationships have changed. Maybe financial situation has changed. And so that's going to cause some anxiety. And underneath there, I might have anger, rage. I might have some grief, loss, sadness. And anxiety can be like this lid on a kind of a boiling pot. Not always, but I'm mentioning this for those of you that that it resonates with. And in that case, all the calming things in the world are super helpful, but until we go in and start emptying out that pot, it's like we'll always be putting out the fire. And so, if that is the case for you, it can be so helpful to let some steam out of the kettle by talking to someone, by sharing with someone how you feel, by being vulnerable. And it's not something that we're always trained to do. I don't know anybody that had parents that gave them good emotional intelligence. Maybe you're the lucky one. And and also deep breath work can do that. In some of our deeper breath work journeys, we can actually also go in there and start to excavate some of that emotional energy. And you've probably heard me say emotions are emotion, energy in motion. And we're not often aware when the emotions actually get stuck, when they actually just want to move. So if you need to cry, you cry. If you need to get angry, you can take a pillow, you can do some deep breathing, um, say it to the trees, write it out, and it can feel so good if you can do it without judging yourself. Like, oh, I shouldn't be angry or I shouldn't be saying that, but that guy really, whatever, got me angry. Or talking to a therapist really help with nervous system regulation. Let's check in here. Yogi Bo. Yogi Bo. Okay. Has a weighted blanket that can be used either heated or cooled. Thank you, Selena. Okay, there you go. Yogi Bo. I knew somebody must have thought of that. Um, yeah, so digging in there. A few other things, if you have been sitting and breathing and doing all these calming down activities, sometimes there comes a time where it's actually the challenge that you need now, that it's actually the movement or the walks or starting slow, gentle stretches or going swimming that's actually going to regulate your nervous system now. And I know for, working with a lot of people who have been burned out over time or have been in, bad accidents, that there is absolutely this period where you just need to rest. You just need to rest. And then there naturally comes a time where movement comes the thing that is the system says, okay, this body's ready to move. This body's ready for a challenge. And so don't be afraid of that either on that end of things, because sometimes that is exactly what you need to do for for a regulated, balanced nervous system. Again, only you can know, and nobody else can tell you that. Um, yeah. So we're almost at the end of our time here. I hope this has been helpful. And I just want to check in and see if there's anything else that you're thinking of that you wanted to either cover in this discussion tonight, or you had a question about. Has this been helpful? I hope you all have at least, 4 or 5 things to go to when we sign off tonight, to start layering in things so that you can have more of a regulated nervous system and have a better night's sleep. So what's coming up? Next week we have Dr. Andrea Moore with us, and she's going to be talking about. It's going to be powerful. We've had her on before, and she's a great speaker. She's going to be talking about going from the shrink, so the contraction response, to a place of power and better control in your pain management. Um, March is going to be sleep month. Okay, so yay. We have Eleanor Stein coming back to us to talk about the work and the research she's been doing on sleep. She's always super helpful. And then in April, we have gut health coming. So we're going to have a month of talking about gut health, the gut microbiome, and so much amazing
Mhm.
information that we have more neurons in our gut than we do in our brain. So we always talk about brain, but so we are changing and we're going to start talking more about gut. So that's going to
See,
be
that's why
super
gut
interesting.
instinct is so important. I mean, really, there's more neurons there than it's amazing. I thought that was quite incredible, actually, and the number of neurons in the GI system. Eh?
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing
Unbelievable.
being, we've emphasized the mind, so we've
Hmm.
actually lost touch with our gut feeling, or we don't trust ourselves anymore
Hmm.
to say, like, this, even to say, like, this medication feels right for me and this medication doesn't feel right for
Hmm.
me.
Hmm. No,
So,
I mean, yeah, just thank you. Like, there's a lot of really interesting, presentations coming up, and I mean, Ellie Stein has been phenomenal, and
mhm.
she's really a great person, and so all the other speakers. But yeah, lots of very interesting stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, just on the very last note is just, yeah, remembering it. Like Nathan said, I really encourage you to to have a schedule, to
Hmm.
have at least two or three things built into your day. So maybe you do a breathing exercise before you even wake up in the morning. Maybe you have a mindful cup of tea, and then maybe you have something midday, and then you do something in the evening. Every single day. This is really important, and you will see a shift. You will see a shift. Look back in 3 months' time, and you will notice 6 months time.
Hmm.
So build it into your day, so So your body just goes, okay, this is what we're doing this morning,
Hmm.
or this is what we do before we go to bed at night.
Hmm. And then also sign up to the website for your emails, because that's how, we all forget, oh, it's this or it's that. When was that? So I would encourage everybody to, if they're not signed up, to please sign up so that you
Mhm.
get the e-newsletters about what's coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. And also any suggestions, because a lot of these
Hmm.
suggestions are coming from you guys. And, I see one here about estrogen causes anxiety. Okay. Thank you for that. We definitely take your suggestions seriously, and we try to do the best that we can to get really good speakers in.
Hmm.
Um, okay. Well, it's actually Sarah Robbins who is coming to speak with us. So, um, yeah, you've heard her. She's amazing. So
Hmm.
she's going to come and do a presentation for us. So excellent.
There's the surprise card. Hey, we only get the
Great.
best. There you
That's
go.
right. Okay,
Okay, well,
everyone.
good night. Thanks, Madeline. Thanks to everybody
Mhm.
for joining us. It's been really very interesting. And yeah, good night and take care until we meet again.
All
Okay,
right.
thanks.
Okay. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Bye.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Sleep well.